I've got my favorite sunscreens. Ike says hi. Yep, say hi to everybody. Okay, bye. I even tried to give them treats, and they're very impatient about today's video, I guess. So, I've got my favorite top 20 sunscreens of 2021, and it was really hard to narrow them down. But I think I have a good variety of mineral sunscreens, chemical sunscreens, and ones that are great for different skin types, ones with different features. So I've got actually one that just came out recently, which I'll talk about at the very end. So these are my favorites. It's so hard narrowing them down. So I'm just going to start off. Evy, I like this sunscreen a lot. Really enjoyed it. One of my favorite sunscreens this year. I really relied on it a lot on a lot of days where I was out a lot, out on the boat, things like that. It's a tiny little boat, but I don't know. I can drive it. I know some of those big fancy boats, they look nice, but I couldn't drive them. Or I'd be scared I'd touch something and do like $1 million of damage. So anyway, it's perfect for that. I love it. Did a very good job. Doesn't feel greasy, really light texture. It's pricey, but I feel like from my experience using it, it does a great job protecting your skin. Love it. Next up, this one, in my opinion, probably geared towards drier skin types, the Verdio UV Moisture Gel. Really enjoy this one, or they call it Essence. Sorry, I got confused. Really enjoy this one. It is very hydrating. It is a bit shiny. I don't really have typical issues with ones that are really shiny because I typically use powder or foundation over it, so it's typically not a huge issue for me, and my skin's dry, but it applies invisibly. It's super affordable, probably the most affordable on this list. It retails for about just under $10. So, and the other version of this is wonderful as well. Next up, another great one for days you're going to be out a lot, days you're looking for something very strong, very reliable. This is the Gruum Beauty. However, it's Altruist. It's they market it and sell it for Altruist in their package, which I can't find the Altruist anywhere where I can get it very easily in the US. So the Gruum Beauty is very easy because I can get it right on BYBI. And this Gruum Beauty, they make an Altruist one, and now they also have a second version. I think it's the Skylar sunscreen, which I just picked up. So BYBI is a great resource for hard to get sunscreens in the US. So anyway, 6 filters in it, does amazing job, very strong, never got red, tan, or anything like that. So I don't actually think I've done a full review of this, so I certainly will try and do that ASAP. So love that one. Next up, the Heliocare Mineral Tolerance Fluid. I was very turned off by Heliocare sunscreens because pretty much all of them had fragrance, but you guys were telling me, try this one, it doesn't, and you will like it, and I did. Thank you, and I really enjoy it, and very great. I love the fern block in there. The fern block is proven. If you take it as a supplement or apply it, it is proven, researched, that it actually provides protection for your skin if you take it as a supplement or apply it. So that's why I really wanted to love a Heliocare sunscreen, because I love that fern block. I believe in it. I use the supplement, and it didn't let me down. This sunscreen is really wonderful and really does a good job, and to be honest, this one applies really nicely. I don't feel like I ever need to wear foundation over it because it does have a bit of a tint to it. So it's got a very light tint to it. And I feel like it just is enough of a tint to kind of even things out. And if I'm going to be outside, I typically don't want to wear foundation anyway. So anyway, worth checking out. Next up, the Skin Aqua Gold. I personally believe this one works better than the one with the pearl bottle and the gold cap, just from my use experience, from looking at the ingredients, and just from an assessment. That's just my opinion on it. Doesn't necessarily mean that one is better than the other, but that's just kind of my personal experience with it. So I really like this one. It does have some denatured alcohol in it, so it is not great for super dry skin, but it really spreads easily. It works well under foundation, makeup, works well over other moisturizers. So really like this one. Occasionally, I can get with alcohol and sunscreens. I don't really prefer to use alcohol much else, but if there's some alcohol in a sunscreen, I can get over it because it does help the sunscreen spread better, adhere better, and set to a more natural finish as opposed to greasy. So people have asked a few times, you recommend it with alcohol in it, but if I can get alcohol out of anything else, that's great. Sunscreens, I'm over it. There's just so many great ones that do have alcohol in them. So does this next one. That is the Allie Kanebo SPF 50. Does have alcohol in it, no fragrance. Slight white cast with this one, but this is another good one that I trust. I use this. It's a great day-to-day sunscreen, as well as a good, if you're going outside a lot, great one. And I also think this alcohol helps a little bit with sweat and things like that. It just helps it stick better and work a little bit better towards sweating and things like that. So this is another great one. Really enjoy that. Next up, Hello Sunday. That's a new brand this year. They came out with a whole flood of sunscreens now. They actually just released a new sunscreen just a few days ago, a mineral face version. This is their everyday one, but they have a primer version. They have a serum version. This is kind of their moisturizer version. I really like this brand. Fragrance-free, alcohol-free, seems to work well. My UV camera tests with this brand have done amazing. It looks like it really blocks everything. And very happy. And they've got some fun packaging and things like that, and they're pretty darn affordable. Next up, for a brand that is probably affordable for a lot of people on one continent, but not so much the others, that is Violet. Not easy to get in the US, but I paid this for shipping. Actually, I think I got this on Space NK for like a short window. Violet was shipping to the US as a glitch. And now if you want to get it, you have to pay through Australia to get it. If you're not in Australia, it's a little bit pricier. This is their clean. So I actually talked so much that I ran out of storage space. So I was leaving off with this one. And I kept talking for like 3 minutes. And I realized I ran out of storage space like 3 minutes ago. So that's when you talk a lot. Okay, so from Violet on to the BYBI Day Defense SPF 30. This is an all mineral sunscreen. No fragrance, no denatured alcohol. It has a really yellow tint to it, which is very helpful for people that have redness in their skin. It also just kind of helps even it out. Instead of having a white cast, it ends up looking more natural and skin-like. It's pretty darn affordable here. And it has a kind of a matte finish to it. And I would say it's pretty friendly for oily skin, pretty friendly for dry skin as well. More, in my opinion, set for oilier skin types, but this one is also a winner. And next up, we've got the Elta MD UV Clear. This is the tinted version. I also love the clear version. They're both wonderful. If I have a day where I don't feel like messing with foundation or powder or anything else, I go with the tinted version. If I want just something that's clear, transparent, and work well under other makeup, then I go with the clear version. The clear version, wonderful for all skin types, men, women. It's a combo sunscreen, which means it's mineral and chemical. It is one of the most recommended highly by lots of people. It's one of the few that where most people try it, they end up loving it. So many sunscreens have a set market where it works well for, and there's few that are really ones that work well for everybody, but that seems to be one of them. So you cannot have any list without Elta MD. Next up, we've got the SVR Cicavit SPF 50+. This stuff is also wonderful. It is very strong. Ike still wants to say hi again. There he is. You like this sunscreen? Ike is a fan. This one's very strong. It applies pretty darn transparently. There you go. There's a little bit of it. It's a great one. It has lots of good ingredients in it and no fragrance in it either. So this one is wonderful. This is another one where it seems to work well for most people. I need to try some of their other products as well. So, because a lot of people talk very highly of other products from that brand. Next up, the Mommy sunscreen by Isehan, and this bottle is getting very, very empty. This one is, it says it's 50. In my gut, I don't necessarily believe it's 50 probably. I think it's probably 30-ish. But it is a great day-to-day sunscreen. If I'm not going to be outside a lot, if I'm running errands, and I'm mostly inside or just juggling things in and out, it's a sunscreen I go for because it's so low maintenance. It feels like nothing on. If I'm going to be outside a lot, is it the one I would go with? No. But the nice thing is it's fragrance-free. It doesn't contain any denatured alcohol. It is pretty child-friendly. And there we go. So it feels just like a lotion, which is why I'm probably thinking it's probably not as high. I think it only has 2 filters in it, so probably not 50. I haven't got red or tan using it, though. So, but probably because I'm only using it for days I'm out for short trips. So, next up, another combo sunscreen, mineral chemical. That is the Canmade Mermaid Gel. They have 2 versions. They have kind of a clear, transparent version. They also have another version which has a little bit of a tint to it, which I prefer the clear version. It just is wonderful. It is a bit drying for some people with very dry skin. It does contain mineral and chemical, and some of those mineral filters can be drying or accentuate dry patches. This one is another great one. I've never got burned, tan, anything using it. I love it. It is wonderful. No fragrance, no alcohol. Another good one. Although the bottles, it seems tiny, but it's probably actually quite similar in terms of the amount in here. So next up, reformulation of the Round Lab Birch Sun Cream. And they did a great job. This is another one. No fragrance in it. It is wonderful. It is a chemical sunscreen. Applies transparently. Works well under everything I've tried it with. It is a bit hydrating. It is a bit shiny. It's probably geared towards drier skin types like myself. But there are some people with oilier skin that have had good luck. I think if you set with a little bit of powder, it will work. But really love this one. So worth checking out. Next up, we've got another reformulation, the Hyggee Vegan Sun Cream. No fragrance in it. Does have a fair amount of denatured alcohol in it. It is one I will pick if I'm going to be outside a fair amount. Not necessarily one that's super stubborn, like if I'm going to be on the boat sweating and things. I wouldn't necessarily pick this one. But if I'm going to be outside a fair amount, it's still a good one, reliable SPF 50. And no fragrance in it either. And pretty affordable and vegan. Next up, another mineral one. We've got the Kinship Self Reflect. I love this stuff. This is their original formula. They just came out with the rose formula. So this original one has vanilla as a scent, vanillin. It's not an irritant fragrance, but it does give things a vanilla scent, and it actually is an antioxidant. So it's not one of those fragrance ingredients that's going to be irritating to your skin. Really enjoy this one. The rose one, I haven't tried it, so not too big in the floral scent things. But this stuff is wonderful. SPF 32, really nice ingredient list, and a nice mineral sunscreen. This one I fell in love with again this year, the NIOD Survival 30. At first I was using it with a really heavy moisturizer, this was before the Proteini, and I found it to be really oily feeling. I didn't like it. However, now that I've changed up my moisturizer, my morning routine a bit, I find this one works wonderfully. It is effortless. It does have a little bit of a tint to it. But I do recommend, if you check this out, get the 30, do not get the 20 or the 10. It's just not enough, even on a day-to-day basis. 20 and 10 is better than nothing, but at least start with 30 if possible on a daily basis. So this stuff is wonderful. I'll put the link to Beauty Bay. It's in and out of stock all the time, but otherwise the Survival 30 in the US is difficult to get. So Beauty Bay is a wonderful resource for that. Next up, we've got the Nivea Zero Feeling UV Lotion. It's a liquid. It is very liquidy, but it is wonderful. It doesn't feel like anything on it. It is so light. I actually gave some samples. I let my sister-in-law try this on recently, and she really loved it. So, yeah, so literally just a liquid. It does have a little bit of alcohol in it to give it that liquidy feeling, but once it's on, it's zero feeling. It is wonderful. No scent to it, alcohol in it, but anyway. The bottle is also gigantic. 100 milliliters, so that's a fair amount of product in it. Next up, so if I'm going to be like hiking or anything like that, I do that occasionally, or like where I'm going to be out like this last year where we had a lot of wildfires coming in from up north, and the air was really thick and smoky and smoggy and smelled like wildfire. This was a sunscreen I went to, and that's the Shiseido D Programme, and it really has provides a nice film for your skin. So if you live in an area with high pollution, or you're going through something like those wildfires where it's really in the air, it really does a good job protecting your skin from those, as well as protecting it from the sun. So this stuff is wonderful. It is a little bit thick, but it is really worth it, especially if you live somewhere where there's pollution. A couple more. The Anessa. I love this stuff. Which version? This is the Perfect UV Mild Sunscreen Milk. It's got mild in the name. Anessa has some products that have fragrance in them. Some are fragrance-free. Generally, if mild is in the name, it's going to be fragrance-free. For people that exercise a lot or sweating a lot, Anessa is the brand I'm going to recommend instantly, because their technology allows it to get stronger with sweat. So as you sweat, it actually kind of works better to protect your skin. So if you're exercising a lot, it's a great pick. No fragrance in it. It's kind of pricey, but it's well worth checking out. And then two more. The Isntree Hyaluronic Watery Sun Gel. I like this stuff. One of the few manufactured sunscreens out of Korea this last year that didn't fail any testing. And it seems like Isntree did their research when they picked Colmar, Korea to make this one. And anyway, it also contains a ton of good antioxidants and beneficial ingredients that help the sunscreen work better. So this stuff, it does have a white cast, but it is going to protect you. So if you can use a foundation over it or something like that, it's worth it. And then last but not least, this is a new one, the B-Lab Matcha Hydrating Sunscreen. I really like this one. It's just newer, so I haven't had a whole year to test it, but anyway, it's new. It has some alcohol, no fragrance. It applies invisibly. Really enjoying it. Yeah. So I'll definitely do a full review of this one after I get a chance to try it a little bit longer. So anyway, those are my favorites from 2021. I'm sure you guys have some favorites, so leave a comment with those. And I will see you more tomorrow. Okay. And by the way, these holes are intentional. The shirt costs more because they put holes in it first. I think I could have put the holes in it and paid less, but anyway. Whatever. Okay, thanks so much. Bye, guys.